going like, hey, I'm Al Roker. You bring me down. You bring the whole fucking system down.
We got the Bill Cosby allegations. We had Bill Cosby on yesterday's Roundtable of Gentlemen.
Yes, we did.
So listen to that, and we'll get to the bottom of all of it.
So
No, I didn't rape her. You know I just bought her.
Oh my God,
I don't need to rape them. I can give them my money, and I give them a Kodak film.
I get Marcus. How lucky are we? Bill Cosby on twice this week on Cave Comedy Radio.
2 days in a row.
I said, Theo, come over here and help me rape this woman. And he was like, no, Dad. I mean, Mr. Cosby, you ain't my real dad.
Not good.
So in 1976, Armando Grimaldo of Raymondville, Texas, reported an encounter. He was smoking a cigarette on his mother-in-law's porch. His estranged wife, Christina, was sleeping inside.
I can't believe it. Armando Grimaldo has an estranged wife?
He's smoking a cigarette on his mother-in-law's porch. I want to see the fight that led to him. I'm going outside to smoke a cigarette. If I come back in and you're still sitting at this goddamn table, everyone's going to be bloody.
And as Armando would later put it,
I heard a sound like a flapping of a bat, like wings, and a funny kind of whistling, kind of going like. The dogs in the neighborhood started barking. I looked around, but I couldn't see anything. I don't know why I never looked up. I guess I should have. But as I was turning to go look over the other side of the house, I felt something grab me, something with big claws. I looked back and I saw it started running. I've never been so scared in my entire life.
He said
it was Bill Cosby.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
He said that he escaped the big bird by diving onto the ground and crawling on his belly until he found safety under sheltering bushes. That's it. That's a tip for all you kids out there. You see a thunderbird, find bushes.
Mm-hmm. There's also talk that a thunderbird could also possibly be like what you've seen is a sighting of a possible like still living dinosaur-like creature, like a pterodactyl.
Well, we'll get to that in just a second, and how that whole theory disproves evolution.
Big week.
Yeah.
Finally.
Take
that, Darwin. Take that, Charles Darwin, and the other guy, Richard Dolan.
2 Bill Cosby experiences and disproving evolution all in 1 week.
Now but you're going to have to wait a little bit for that, because we've got to hear from 9-year-old Marlon Lowe of Lawndale, Illinois. In 1970, says that he was snatched from the ground by a giant black bird in the sight of his mother and other witnesses. He was carried several feet before his struggles brought him to the ground. Later that year, 21-year-old Francisco Magallanes Jr., who may or may not have been drinking, he told police that he went to his backyard around 12:45 a.m. to investigate a noise and noticed an unknown creature in a stooped position. And according to Francisco, who may or may not have been drinking, the black bat-winged animal then rose to a height of 6 feet and pounced on him, scratching him badly in the ensuing struggle. He broke free and ran back to his house. He described the creature as having the face of a pig with bright red eyes and pointy ears, long arms, stubby legs, and an 8-foot wingspan. He claimed that the monster made a hissing sound like a snake, and when it was touching him, his skin would become hot.
Pig bat.
One theory is that these creatures, as you mentioned earlier, one of these creatures are some kind of pterosaur, like pterodactyls. We all know what pterodactyls are. We were all 8 years old once. We all know what they are.
Apparently they never actually existed.
No, they did.
All right.
Yes, they did.
What do you mean?
Don't say they didn't exist, Ben.
Some people say
that's my favorite dinosaur.
Yeah,
well, a lot of people say they don't exist.
Well, actually, they're not dinosaurs. They're pterosaurs. It's 2 different things.
I'm about to nerd alert. Come on. Good God.
But them being pterosaurs loosely matches descriptions of the bat-like wings, the scaly skin, and the long tail. Ken Galhot, an expert on big birds, theorizes that a group of these animals could populate remote parts of Mexico's unexplored mountains or the marshes and jungles of Central America, and for reasons unknown, these animals may periodically migrate or roam.
So this guy, he's an expert on big birds. I would love to see if somebody presented him with a tiny bird. He's like, get that squirrel out of here. I have no idea what the hell that thing is. I do big birds.
Now, here's where we're going to blow open. Here's where the whole ball game's going to explode.
Uh-oh.
One researcher, Jonathan Whitcomb, he uses the pterosaur theory to refute the general theory of evolution.
And this is the problem. So once we start pulling threads, and the whole thing comes apart, all in one 9-year-old boy getting raped by a pig bat. Like, I think that science is fragile.
Yeah.
He says, quote, one reason people believe in the general theory of evolution is because of continual one-sided declarations that dinosaurs and pterosaurs are examples of primitive life that is forever gone. And the existence of living pterosaurs is more harmonious to a belief in a creative God than it is an accidental evolution of microbes into the life that is now on the planet.
Go fuck yourself.
There we go.
And it
also,
makes a
I
good
would
point,
love to
though.
see. He's also the only man in the world who watches Sesame Street and is like filled with rage. Just going in like, you see what I'm saying? You've got grouches and you've got big birds. And if you tell me for 1 second that there is not a God in the sky who is making these, look at this. These are creatures that they've just filmed and they'll be on television next to children.
Yep.
Well, he set out to
Thinks
prove
he's
his theory
watching a
true.
fucking documentary.
We're letting these fucking monsters teach our children the alphabet, and it's not even the right alphabet.
It's not right.
It's not the right alphabet.
I don't know if
I know
it's
the right
right.
alphabet.
I think if we start looking at the letters, if we start looking at the research and we look at the letters and we know that there are several letters in between D and E that the government hasn't been hiding from us.
Well, there is a theory that the 26 letters of the alphabet
Don't
are
do this. Don't do this, Marcus.
Not now.
So we'll save that for a later episode. So his evidence, he went out to Papua New Guinea, which is a site of many big bird sightings, to look for evidence, and he got a testimony from a school teacher named Eunice, who described, Eunice. You got a school marm named Eunice?
I love her.
You gotta trust her.
Oh, she's sweet.
I can already see her shape in my mind.
She described an attempted grave robbery by one of the creatures, known by the natives in Papua New Guinea as the Ropin. One night in April of 1993 near the northwest coast of Umbwa Island, after a large funeral procession arrived at the burial location, a creature with a glowing red tail came from the sea, and about 200 mourners were awake when the creature flew overhead. The villagers banged pots and yelled, whereupon the intruder flew into a nearby swamp and the light disappeared.
Oh, cool.
This all sounds like, what was the name of Sonic's sidekick?
Tails?
Tails.
Or Knuckles?
Knuckles. I don't know.
Knuckles and Tails, those were his two sidekicks?
Which one was the gay one?
Knuckles.
Tails.
Tails was a girl.
No, Tails was a boy.
Was he?
So 2 men also saw the Ropin clinging to the side of a tree, and it almost looked like a boy climbing up a coconut tree. And according to Whitcomb, who has never actually seen a Ropin himself, the creature has a wingspan of 15 meters with an inflexible tail, some 7 or 8 meters long. The creature is featherless, has a large head crest, and is bioluminescent, glowing eerily as it sails through the night sky. Now, let's bring some actual science into this.
Sure.
According to Whitcomb, the conclusion is unmistakable. He said that
of course.
unmistakable.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, no
He
way.
said that eyewitness evidence indicates a giant ramphorokinochoid.
A Ramphorokinoid?
Ramphorokinoid.
We'll call it a Ramphorokinoid.
It's a big bird.
It's a real big bird.
Goddamn
It's a real
fake
big bird. He says that pterosaur has an established presence in the Southwest Pacific. Those pterosaurs were among the first pterosaurs to have appeared. They had an 11-foot wingspan, and they were a part of the Triassic period, which was admittedly about 210 million years ago.
Cool.
So,
I mean, I want this guy to be right.
yeah, these pterosaurs have apparently been hiding out in Papua New Guinea for the last 210 million years, apparently sidestepping all other evolution.
Like Whitey Bulger?
Yeah, like Whitey Bulger.
Like a mafia man. There's like, oh, we better go to Papua New Guinea, hide out for a couple million years, let the heat die down.
I just want to say is that if there are any of these pterosaurs left, we should probably get them and start killing them and grinding their bones, because you know that bone powder, it's going to make you real hard.
You're like goat weed.
Only the crest.
Yes.
You got to grind down the crest. It's all about the horn.
That
Yeah.
would be a reason that men would kill an animal, like an entire species. Be like, gets my dick
We already
big.
have.
Yeah, we already
many
had.
species.
It's the rhinoceros, the white rhinoceros. They're gone because of
boners.
Because of boners, yeah, or because lack of, really.
If you can't get a boner, you don't deserve to get one, and you shouldn't scientifically use any pills to achieve erection. That's what I believe.
So you're saying that it's God's will that you don't have a boner?
If you can't get a boner, you don't deserve one.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
The next up is the Ogopogo.
Now, the Ogopogo is it's a fun little creature that is a more dangerous version of the Loch Ness Monster.
Yes, a much more
Which
dangerous
is really
version.
strange because it's Canadian.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be nicer
Right.
than the other creatures, but it's not.
God, no. In fact, it has its own little theme song. It gets its name from the Ogopogo, the Funny Foxtrot by Cumberland Clark and Mark Strong.
Ooh, can
Yeah,
we
it's a
hear some of that?
1924 English music hall song that was written specifically to beat your family to. All right, so you want to play a little bit of the song?
Yeah, let's play a little bit of this song. This is by the Paul Whiteman Orchestra.
White man.
An all-black orchestra.
Yeah. And let's hear a little bit of the Ogopogo.
One fine day in Hindustan, I met a funny little man with
It's actually good.
Yeah, it's great.
an old silk hat and hairy paws. When I said to that quaint old chap, why do you carry that big seam of perhaps a butterfly net and rusty gum? He replied, "Dear my son, I'm looking for the
He's looking for the Ogopogo. It's really fun. It's a really fun
man.
song.
I'm just gonna watch
It's like
nothing-
it's like a song that should always be playing in the background of a haunted hotel.
Haunted Hotel, or just if you're watching random war footage on your computer at home alone, just play that.
I don't even know why you begin. So why did the Ogopogo